Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.
Question 1. If you are looking at the note rate, you are looking at A. The interest rate stated on a mortgage note. B. An amount that has been pre-qualified. C. The rate of depreciation of a real property. D. None of these? Answer A. The note rate is the interest rate that is stated on a mortgage note. Question 2. The National Association of Realtors, NAR, is affiliated with which of the following? A. The American Institute of Real Estate Appraisers. B. Institute of Real Estate Management. C. The Farm and Land Institute. D. All of these? Answer E. The National Association of Realtors is affiliated with 9 institutes, councils, and societies. The American Institute of Real Estate Appraisers, the Institute of Real Estate Management, and the Farm and Land Institute are 3 of these affiliates. Question 3. What causes the real estate market to be considered inflexible? A. The lack of control of factors determining values of property. B. The immobility of land as well as the time required to develop new properties. C. The ability to quickly react to market demand fluctuations. D. The similarities of properties in a general geographic area. Answer B. Because each property is unique in real estate and cannot be moved, this creates a slowness to respond to market demand. Question 4. Uniqueness in real estate properties is sometimes called A. Situs. B. Conforming. C. Self-same. D. Unvaried. Answer A. Situs is a term of law, originally meaning site, where the property is treated as being located for legal purposes. This uniqueness of place in real estate is also called situs. Question 5. The mortgage that usually has priority is A. The one that has been recorded first. B. The one that has no prior liens affecting its priority. C. The one that is executed first. D. None of these. Answer A. The priority of a trust deed or mortgage is established by recording. The one that is recorded first gets priority. Question 6. If an agent is to get the commission for a long-term lease, the commission would be paid out A. Immediately for the full amount of the lease. B. Each month over the life of the lease. C. In a lump sum for half the lease amount and monthly thereafter. D. None of these. Answer B. Typically, the lease compensation is calculated based on the full and total amount of the lease but paid out monthly over the term of the lease. However, in extremely long leases, the compensation is typically paid out monthly for the first few years of the lease and a lump sum thereafter. Question 7. In order to set commission rates, the contract between the principal and broker should A. Be in writing stating rates are set by statute. B. Be in writing stating that rates are negotiable. C. Be an oral agreement if not written. D. None of these. Answer B. Commission rates are not set by statute. The commission rates between the broker and principal are negotiable. To establish this and avoid lawsuits, this should be in writing. Question 8. If a mortgage note was executed and a new loan was established on the same property at a higher interest rate, the prepayment penalty could be A. Waived due to recouping losses through a higher interest rate. B. Waived because of the understanding nature of the lender. C. Charged regardless of any interest rates. D. None of these. Answer A. Because a prepayment penalty is instituted by a lender to recoup any lost interest charges due to early payoff of a mortgage note, a lender could waive the prepayment penalty if a new loan on the same property is issued at a higher interest rate. Question 9. If an advertisement is offering a secured loan, the ad must include A. The loan is secured. B. To what extent the loan is secured. C. How and to what extent the loan is secured. D. Who is securing the loan? Answer. C. Disclosure of how and to what extent a loan is secured must be included in any advertisements offering secured loans. Question 10. If a farm is sold that has a full crop of annual vegetables ready to be harvested, what conveys as real property? A. Trees. B. Air rights. C. Mineral rights. D. All of these. Answer. D. The annual crops are considered personal property of the person who planted them. The trees, air rights, and mineral rights convey with the sale of the property.
Passing the real estate exam can be hard, like really hard. Statistically, only about 50% of people actually pass the real estate exam on their first try. Those people that pass, they go on to become real estate agents. And the people that didn't pass, they either give up completely or have to try again. Both of these options are painful, disappointing, and upsetting. Exam Scholar Real Estate Edition has been named as the best real estate exam prep by multiple publications for 7 years in a row. If you are about to take the real estate exam, Exam Scholar Real Estate Edition is a no-brainer choice. There is no other real estate exam preparation service out there that comes close. To enjoy the longest membership time, lowest cost, real estate videos, audios, articles, flashcards, vocabulary, exam tips and tricks, a 1-year no questions asked refund policy, and be one of the 35,000 people that it has helped pass the real estate exam, then sign up in less than 5 minutes at www.realestateexamscholar.com.
Question 1. Which of the following cannot be defined as escrow monies? A. Promissory notes. B. Security deposits. C. Personal bonds. D. Earnest money. Answer. C. Personal bonds cannot be used as escrow money because the escrow money must be immediately available in most cases. Any of the other answers listed are acceptable for escrow monies. Question 2. Which of these are considered a protected class under the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988? A. A dog. B. A child. C. An immigrant. D. A single mother. Answer. B. Of the listed choices, the presence of children in a family were added to the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988. Question 3. Ben, the landlord, wishes to charge Betty extra rent because she has a child living with her. This would be considered A. Legal. B. Illegal. C. Legal in certain neighborhoods. D. None of these. Answer. B. This practice is illegal according to the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 that included the presence of children in a family as a protected class. Question 4. Building heights, setbacks, and density are usually established by A. Local building inspectors. B. Zoning regulations. C. County ordinances. D. State general plans. Answer. B. Zoning regulations control the use of land as well as determine building heights, setbacks, and density. Question 5. What does the Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act cover? A. Residential mortgage loans. B. 1 to 4 family mortgage loans. C. Commercial mortgage loans. D. Installment mortgages. Answer B. Also known as RESPA, the Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act covers 1 to 4 family mortgage loans, including equity loans. Question 6. Careful zoning can have which effect on property values? A. No change in property value. B. Increased property value. C. Decrease in property value. D. None of these. Answer B. Proper and careful zoning can increase property values by means of the principle of conformity. Question 7. If Jerry sold his land to Margaret, he could inhibit Margaret's future enjoyment of the property by what means? A. Nothing. Once the property is sold, it belongs to Margaret to do as she pleases. B. Through zoning laws. C. Through deed restrictions. D. Through court order. Answer C. Deed restrictions are restrictive covenants on the use of the property that run with the land. Question 8. Abel has the right to cross through Peter's property to get to his property. What is this right called? A. A license. B. An appurtenant easement. C. A habendum clause. D. A contract. Answer B. Abel has an appurtenant easement that allows him to cross over Peter's property to get to his own. Question 9. If Nancy owns the property that Heather crosses over to get to her own property, Nancy owns which parcel? A. Dominant. B. Neutral. C. Subservient. D. Servient. Answer A. Because Nancy owns the land that Heather has to cross over by easement to get to her property, Nancy is said to have the dominant parcel. Question 10. In order to bind a contract between two parties, consideration must be A. Money. B. Goods or services. C. Money, goods, or services. D. Anything the parties agree upon is valuable enough. Answer D. Consideration in a contract can be anything agreed upon between two parties that they consider to be valuable enough to satisfy the contract. Question 1. Which of these are not included in a spot survey of a single lot? A. Nearby schools. B. Property improvements. C. Encroachments. D. Easements. Answer A. Nearby schools would not be included in a spot survey. Spot surveys identify property improvements, encroachments, and easements. Question 2. How do professional agents establish a listing price for a property? A. Appraisal analytics. B. Broker research report. C. Geographic location analysis. D. Comparative market analysis. Answer D. The comparative market analysis is the method to determine a listing price that is based on similar properties in the area. Question 3. A contract that has been performed except for one of the elements listed is called A. Executed. B. Pre-performed. C. Executory. D. Void. Answer C. When all parts of a contract have been completely performed, it is called executed. Until all parts have been completely performed, it is called executory. Question 4. When a broker obtains a new contract, it is considered what until fully performed? A. Pre-executed. B. Pre-performed. C. Invalid. D. Executory. Answer: D. A contract that has not been fully performed is known as executory. Once it is performed, it is called executed. Question 5. David, a broker, has recently finalized a deal for the purchase of one of his listings. The buyer has given him earnest money. What must David do next with the earnest money? A. Deposit the money in the company operating account. B. Deposit the money in his personal account. C. Deposit the money in an escrow account. D. Place the money in a secure location for later. Answer: C. All earnest money must be placed in an escrow account. Earnest money cannot be mixed with personal accounts, business operating accounts, or other locations. Question 6. The pledging of something as collateral or security for payment of a loan is known as A. Hypoflation. B. Hypothecation. C. Hypothecary. D. Hypogenation. Answer: E. Hypothecation is the pledging of something as collateral or security for payment of a loan. Question 7. A borrower conveys legal title to the property to a third disinterested party for safekeeping in order to secure a loan. The required document in this type of situation is called A. An executory deed. B. A warranty deed. C. A trust conveyance. D. A trust deed. Answer: D. A trust deed involves a third party that holds the deed to the property until the loan requirements have been fulfilled for a lender. Once the loan has been fulfilled, the third party holder of the trust deed will reconvey the deed to the purchaser. Question 8. To create a valid mortgage, it must be A. In writing. B. Secured by collateral. C. Have monthly payments. D. Have pictures of the property. Answer: A. Options given, being in writing is the correct answer. However, a valid mortgage must also contain a legal description of the secured property and a statement of the debt owed. Question 9. If land is utilized in a range of ways in balanced proportions, this can potentially A. Decrease land value. B. Increase land value. C. Be illegal due to zoning laws. D. Cause tension between neighbors. Answer: D. As long as the land use is in advantageous proportions, this can increase the value of the land. Question 10. Ito wishes to have a broker represent him in the purchase of a new piece of property. This type of arrangement would be called A. Dual agency agreement. B. Cooperative broker assignment. C. Buyer-broker agreement. D. Right to show agreement. Answer: C. Of the listed answers, buyer-broker agreement is the correct answer. This type of agreement can also be called an exclusive right to represent agreement. Question 1. Land is typically appraised by what approach? A. Income approach. B. Gross rent multiplier approach. C. Option approach. D. Market data approach. Answer: D. Land is typically appraised by the market data approach by comparing the subject property to recent sales data of comparable parcels of land. Question 2. If Sarah Jean recently begins to receive her own tax bill after purchasing her property, this means she has most likely purchased into A. A condominium. B. A lease. C. A tenancy in common. D. A syndicate. Answer. A. A condominium is owned in fee simple, just as a normal home would be. This means that the homeowner, or condo owner, receives his or her own property tax bill. Question 3. Which party is most likely to sue for specific performance in regard to the purchase of real estate? A. The buyer. B. The seller. C. The broker. D. The attorney of the brokerage. Answer. A. The party most likely to sue for specific performance would be the buyer. This is done by the buyer to force the seller to sell. Question 4. When are mills most often used? A. In the calculation of square inches. B. In the appraisal of the property. C. In the assessment of the county fire code. D. In the assessment of property taxes. Answer. D. Mills, each 1/10 of a cent, are sometimes used to express the tax rate per dollar of assessed value. Question 5. What is the difference between market value of a property and the debt on the property including all liens? A. Income ratio. B. Assessed value. C. Equity. D. Market fluctuated value. Answer. C. Equity is the difference between the market value and the debt on the property. Question 6. The first step of a jurisdiction attempting to enact eminent domain is to A. Attempt to purchase the property in question. B. Give the owners a 30-day notice to vacate. C. Seek an injunction. D. Obtain a writ of closure. Answer. A. The first step of the jurisdiction would be to attempt to purchase the property at a fair market rate. Question 7. If the buyer, Sue, gives her agent, Jesse, an envelope of cash to hold as her earnest money for the property she wishes to buy, she is trusting that Jesse will protect this money for her and is an example of the fiduciary duty of A. Due process. B. Accounting. C. Competence. D. Escrow. Answer. B. This is the fiduciary duty of accounting. The agent must be able to hold and produce anything that is given to their care. Question 8. If a contract has a clause that states time is of the essence and either party fails to act in a timely manner to execute the contract, they can be held in A. Breach. B. Default. C. Void. D. Non-performance. Answer. B. If any party fails to take care of their matters in a timely manner in this situation could be held in default of contract. Question 9. In an area neighborhood that has a home in a dilapidated state that would require extensive remodeling to be compared to other homes in the area, what would this be an example of? A. Depreciation. B. Incurable depreciation. C. Curable depreciation. D. None of these. Answer. B. This is an external factor caused by the other homes in the area. This is a form of incurable depreciation. Question 10. The civil penalty for a first violation of the federal fair housing laws can be as much as A. $1,000. B. $5,000. C. $10,000. D. $50,000. Answer. D. The court may assess civil penalties against the violator up to $50,000 for a first violation and up to $100,000 for any subsequent violation. Question 1. Typically, a penalty that a borrower must pay if the payment is at least 15 days late on a first mortgage is best called A. A late charge. B. A delinquent payment fee. C. A fee in contract. D. A penalty in date. Answer: A. A late charge is a penalty that a borrower must pay if the payment is at least 15 days late on a first mortgage. This time frame can vary, but the most typical is at least 15 days. Question 2. If Lucia was looking to come up with a down payment for her loan and she put forth the idea of using her 401k plan as a source for the down payment, this would be A. An acceptable source for a down payment. B. An unacceptable source for a down payment. C. An acceptable source for a down payment as long as penalties are paid prior. D. None of these. Answer: A. A 401k plan is an acceptable source for a down payment for most types of loans. Most times, pulling funds from a 401k plan prematurely will result in penalties. However, it is not required to pay these penalties in order to secure the down payment for a loan. Question 3. The best definition of a foreclosure is A. The legal process by which a borrower in default under a mortgage is deprived of their interest in the mortgaged property. B. The legal process by which a borrower relinquishes interest in a real property whether in default or not. C. The legal process by which a borrower is evicted from real property in which they hold interest, even if only one payment is late. D. None of these. Answer: A. Foreclosure is best defined by the legal process by which a borrower in default is deprived of their interest in the mortgaged property. Question 4. A mortgage on a property that is considered to be the priority mortgage among any loans recorded against a property is best defined as A. A primary mortgage. B. A first mortgage. C. An anterior mortgage. D. A premier mortgage. Answer: B. A mortgage that is considered to be the priority or first place mortgage among any loans recorded against a property is best defined as a first mortgage. Question 5. An income-based community lending model, under which mortgage insurers and Fannie Mae offer flexible underwriting guidelines to increase a low or moderate income family's buying power and to decrease the total amount of cash needed to purchase a home is called A. Fannie Mae's Community Home Buyers Program. B. Freddie Mac's Community Home Buyers Program. C. Fannie Mae's Income-Based Home Buyers Program. D. Fannie Mae's Disadvantaged Borrowers Home Buyer Program. Answer: A. Fannie Mae's lending model that offers flexible underwriting guidelines to increase certain families' buying power and to decrease the total amount of cash needed to purchase a home is called Fannie Mae's Community Home Buyers Program. Question 6. In an exclusive listing, it gives the licensed real estate agent the exclusive right to sell a property. A. For a specified period of time. B. Indefinitely. C. Until the property is sold. D. Until the seller changes their mind. Answer: A. An exclusive listing allows for the licensed agent to have the exclusive right to sell the property for a specified period of time. It does not allow for an indefinite period of exclusivity. Question 7. This is a law requiring lenders and other creditors to make credit equally available without discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, age, sex, marital status, or receipt of income from public assistance programs. A. ECO. B. IACO. C. COA. D. None of these. Answer: A. The law that requires lenders and other creditors to make credit equally available without discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, age, sex, marital status, or receipt of income from public assistance programs is called the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECO. Question 8. The term that is used in reference to FHA and VA loans and that are paid in addition to the 1% loan origination fee is called: A. Discount points. B. APR. C. Interest. D. None of these. Answer: A. Discount points are any points, money, paid in addition to the typical 1% loan origination fee. Discount points are usually associated with FHA or VA loans. Question 9. The most common definition of a creditor is: A. A person to whom money is owed. B. A person that owes money to another. C. An institution that originates loans. D. An institution that insures loans. Answer: A. A creditor is a person to whom money is owed. The creditee is a person that owes money to another. Question 10. In order for a real estate agent to determine the market value of a property, the agent would look at recent sales of properties with similar attributes, otherwise known as: A. Comparables. B. Similars. C. Sames. D. Clones. Answer: A. Comparables, or comps, are the properties that are similar to the examined property that have sold recently. This gives the agent a good and fair determination of the current market value for the examined property.
Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.